Hey y'all, what's up? How y'all doing? It's Kalia here. So thank you for coming back and visiting me for week 2. If you're coming back and if you're new, welcome. So again, this is the second video of my New Year Better You series. I think that's what I'm gonna name it. I don't know. Probably gonna have a different name by the time we get to the next video. I'll get it figured out eventually. Or you know what? How about this? Why don't you drop some good names for me that I can name this first of the year series? Drop it in the comments, or yeah, in the comments. But anyway, so number one, I want to go ahead and explain. I do have a little bit of a head cold, so please ignore this. All right, we're going, but this not what we're here for. This not what we're here for. What we're here for is, like we talked about in the first video, well, excuse me, in week 1's video, about being your better best you. Okay, that's what we're here for. So week 2, we're gonna go back a little bit. We're gonna go way back. And by way back, what I mean is we're going to dig deep. And we're going to ask us some very important, very jarring questions. All right? So that we can get a better understanding of who we are and why we're at where we're at. Okay? Now, I'm also let y'all know I do have my notes here, because I'm a little nervous. Okay? So if you see me looking down, just know I'm a little nervous. And I'm looking down to make sure I remember everything I told y'all. Now, going back to what I was saying, digging deep, we're going to dig deep in our past, and we're going to ask us some questions, not just in our past, but in our future. Well, not future, but also in our future, but in our today, in our present, right now. What a lot of people don't realize is that your past, it oftentimes shapes the future that you have, and that's whether or not you choose to do the work to heal, or you choose to just sweep it underneath the rug, or you choose to just, whatever you choose to do. Your past will always affect you, and it's best if you choose to actively do the work to be better, so that you can have better, right? Oh yeah. Why y'all ain't tell me I messed up my lip gloss? Girl, we supposed to be friends. You ain't tell me. It's alright. I'm just putting some on my face. Keep my face dry. It is. But it's only dry because I got this fan blowing right here on my face, and y'all, I've been blowing my nose like crazy. So I took some, listen, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna get back to the video. I took some Mucinex, and baby, it didn't, like, I feel it, like, it's just, whoo. And so which I'm fine with that, because baby, when I say I don't like being sick, I do not like being sick at all. But it's definitely get all that stuff out. But I am a little hot right now because I got this wig and this hat on, so I got this fan on right here, and this job. But that's neither here nor there. Again, that's not what we came for. That's not what we came for. So I'm gonna come geek what you came for. So back to what I was saying. Yeah, now, the things of our past, the trauma of our past, the activities of our past, oftentimes we don't see how much it impacts us until someone tells us, or something happens in a manner so much so where we cannot ignore it, right? And we have to do the work. We have to do something. We have to heal it. We have to work through it. And what I've learned is that we can take that dirt that was meant to bury us and suffocate us, and use that as fertilizer to build, or to grow the flower, the beautiful flower beds that we are, right? I see it as, think of it this way, right? So things happen to you as a child. Think about it this way. Actually, Medea, Tyler Perry, one of his Medea plays, said it best. Children have these backpacks. They're like backpacks, right? And they have these backpacks from birth. And we as parents, or just life in general, we put things into that backpack, right? And as that child is growing and growing, that backpack is also growing with them, but it still has the things, the items, the behavior, the habits, the traumas, you know, the knowledge, whatever you put in there, that's what that child has in them, right? And then you see the fruit of what that child has incurred in their childhood that comes out in their adulthood. Now, although this part may seem like it is unfair, and I do feel like it is a bit unfair, but it does happen for a reason, right? And oftentimes it happens so that when it happens to other people, right, we can be the, I don't want to say saving grace, but we can be the what's the word I'm looking for? Girl, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word I'm looking for. And it's like we're the, again, not saving grace, but we're the example, right? If we choose to, you know what, I'm gonna do the work, I'm gonna work through this. It is very hard, it is very lonely, it is very scary, but I'm gonna work through this so that I can have a better life, and I can show other people that they can as well. That's what we're doing. That's what, you know, well, yeah, either way, that's what we're doing. So anyway, going back to what I was saying, didn't want to get lost in rambling, but children are like backpacks. Whatever you put in them, that's what they're going to show up to be in their adulthood. Now, at that point in time, they do have a time where they have to come and they have to look into that backpack. And they have the option to either continue to choose to use the tools they have in that backpack or to learn how to take and empty that backpack out. They have to do some work. They have to uproot some things. They have to get rid of some things. And then they have to learn how to replace it or replenish it with some new things, But that's the same thing with us. The exact same thing. We were once children. We were once someone's children. We all went through some stuff. We've already gone through some stuff. It's the same thing with our flower bed. The soil that we have can either suffocate us or we can choose to allow it to fertilize us for great flower beds, right? Now, I'm saying that because it is very important for us to do self-reflection. And I say this as a prime example. Think back to a time and hold on. So I want you to think back to a time in your childhood with your mom or your dad. Most of us have more experiences with our mom, or if you have one with your dad, that's fine. Whatever works for you. Think back to a time with either parent or both, where your parent may have said something or did something that you said, you know what, when I have children, I will never say, I would never do, right? And I want you to also think, has there ever been a time where you almost slipped up and said or did the very thing you said you weren't going to do? Or you did do it and you felt such a heavy burden of regret that, you may have apologized profusely to your child, or you bought them, some outlandish whatever, right? Whatever you may have did to, try to make up for it. I want you to think back to a time where your parent did something that you said you would never do, and something that you may have almost done or you did do, right? And I want you to understand exactly what I'm about to say next. Trauma, typically when people are doing things, these are learned behaviors. Not always, but most of the time. And I'm saying that because I want you to learn how to, number one, when you're doing these self-reflection questions, be honest with yourself. Don't lie. Do not lie. Be honest and write down the truth. I did create a little template thing, and it is going to be on my website, which is going to be down in the description box. Just go to the website, click on my social media handle, and then you should see it from there. But the purpose of me telling you that is, once you fill that out, I want you to self-reflect back on some of the traumas and the behaviors that you have and how you can start to be better, to do better, so that just like what we were talking about in our video for last week, it'll help you to get to those goals that you want to get to. Now, going back to the parent trauma, right? I'm pretty sure that their parent may have done something, or their family member or whomever they may have had in their corner may have done the exact same thing to them, right? So number one, I want you to focus on forgiving yourself. Not only forgiving yourself, but also giving them grace. And by forgiving yourself, I want to say forgiving yourself in the terms of when you may have almost done it or you did do it, okay? But most of all, I want you to give your parent grace and give yourself grace as well. Now, I want to also say this, right? You still got some parents that feel like it's okay to still do things that they do. Boundaries, baby. Boundaries. Get them and stick to them, okay? Stick to your boundaries, right? But if you are in a place where both of y'all are better and y'all can... Anyway, grace. Give them grace. And giving someone grace, I know that a lot of people like give grace and you don't actually understand how to give grace. What I have learned and found that in giving grace, it is understanding their story. If you can have that talk with your parent, or if you know something, understanding their story from their perspective, right? Putting yourself in their shoes when they were a child and they experienced trauma, or they experienced whatever they may have experienced. Even in adulthood, if they were in a marriage or in a relationship, where it was very detrimental to them, right? And it did a number on their mental health, which in turn, I guess you could say, in turn, it affected how they showed up for you as a parent, right? Give them grace for that. And again, in the grace part is understanding that, giving them compassion and saying, hey, I understand that, and being kind. And of course, always be respectful, but being kind, but also, having those standards and saying, you know what, hey, if you can have that conversation with them, have that conversation with them. But there's some parents, and I know especially in the Black community, and of course, I'm pretty sure it's like that in other communities. I can only speak to the Black community because I'm Black. That's all I can speak to because I'm Black, But if in if you can have that conversation with, hey, when this happened, I was very hurt by it. I've forgiven you for it, but I just wanted to express that to you. But if you cannot, then this will be one of those things where you have to learn how to forgive a person even when you have not received an apology. And honestly, the forgiveness part is for you. It's really not for that person, because at the end of the day, it's so crazy because someone had told me this. The things that people do to you is often a reflection of what they have going on, and especially when you were an innocent party. More particularly when you were an innocent party, things that people say and do to you is a reflection of what they have going on, and their actions towards you has nothing to do with you. Okay, so I want you to liberate yourself from that, and I want you to forgive them, give them grace, and then you put your focus back on you and getting yourself to your being your better best self. And I say that because oftentimes our trauma is a huge paperweight. Let me not say paperweight, but a huge burden or an obstacle in the road, on the journey, on the pathway to becoming our better best selves. And it is up to us to do what we got to do to get to where we need to get to. All right. And so that includes going back in time and forgiving those people, forgiving ourselves, whatever it may have been. We're forgiving those people, we're forgiving ourselves, and we are enjoying ourselves. Now, I do want to say this. I have that questionnaire for y'all to go and do. And once y'all do that questionnaire, right, I want you to create a mantra or an affirmation, right? And after you create that affirmation, I want you to pray over it. Um, Also, I want to also say this because, again, this will probably bring up a lot of suppressed trauma, things you didn't even realize that you have. I want you to still take care of yourself mentally and emotionally, right? And oftentimes, especially if you're pretty much doing this alone, like most of us are, you may not have that person that you can directly, hey, listen, this hurt is what, so you got to take care of yourself. So in your aftercare self-care, that's what I'm gonna call it, aftercare self-care, I want you to go and I want you to cry it out, scream it out, go to the gym, work it out, box it out if you need to, paint it out, whatever you have to do, you find an outlet. Okay, a productive outlet and getting that out. Also, meditate and journal. And meditation can be just as simple as when you feel yourself, when you feel those emotions getting here and you're choking up, taking that deep breath, right? And eventually adding on counting, like, counting to inhale and exhale. So you do one, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Or however way you want to do that, adding those in and being able to ground yourself, right? And then I want you to write it down. Write it down. Get you a journal, write it down. Or, that questionnaire, if y'all decide to print it out, you can write it down on the back of that questionnaire, whatever you want to do. But I want you to not let it sit there and fester. Don't let it be stagnant within you, because it does not deserve that space. That has happened. It has shaped you to who you are today. But allow it to how do I say this? Allow it to move away so that you can shape yourself into something better. It's done its job. Now it's time for you to do yours, and that means you are working to be your better best self. Now, another thing that I do, and it's gonna be a shameless plug, but another thing that I love to do is I take my products and I go in my shower, and especially after I run my bath water and all of that, I sit there and I'm crying in the tub. I'm talking to God, praying in the tub, well, actually I do all this, but I'm saying my affirmations in the tub, and I'm just sitting there, and I'll get my body scrub, and I'm just scrubbing away, and this just stick with me. But I imagine the dirt, like the dirt that we were talking about that was suffocating, right? I imagine that dirt is there, and I'm taking it and I'm scrubbing it off, scrubbing it off, scrubbing it off, right? With my wet body scrubs. And then, of course, you rinse off and you get out. And then I'm like, you know what? Now let me pour back into myself. Right. And as I'm pouring back into myself, that's when I go into my affirmation mode. Now, there's some times where I do this while I'm still in the tub. Sometimes I wait till I get out, and this is like when I start saying my affirmations. But I'm putting on my body butter, and I'm saying, you know what? I am kind. I am beautiful. What has happened is not a reflection of me, but is a reflection of how strong my character is. I do not allow this to stop me. I do not allow this to shape or define me. I define me. I love me. And I've always followed up with my body oil. Now, this is going to sound a little crazy, but it works. So I take my body oil, right? And I say, God loves me. And let me explain this before I tell y'all that. So Oil, right? Typically when you're applying it, you want to hydrate the skin, then you put on your cream, and then you put on your oil because it locks it in. Remember that, okay? So what I'm about to say next is I just scrub the dirt off, right? I put on the body, really it's body mousse, but I put that on, right, to moisturize my skin. Now for the locking in. I lock it in because I know God loves me. God has made me divinely beautiful, divinely protected. God is amazing, and God is so amazing that he made me amazing because he made me in his likeness and in his image. Things like that, okay? Tell yourself that. Tell yourself that, because it's number one, it's the truth, and number two, it helps you to fight the lies that are going on in your head. Because when things happen to us, we have thoughts and behaviors, but most of our thoughts that will come up and they'll be like, you know what, you're not good enough. You know what, you're not who you think you're not. God didn't make you to God, you know, and it ain't nothing but a lie. So you gotta learn how to counter them lies with the truth. Okay, with the truth, baby. But I just want to tell y'all that now. Outside of that, I'm thinking of, actually I'm not thinking, I am going to do this. I want to do a giveaway, right? And I want to do a giveaway for the end of this month. And pretty much what the giveaway is going to be is giving away one free bundle of my products. It is going to be to a single mom who is showing up for herself, right? And I mean showing up, and she is doing the work. She's putting in the work, whether she's been doing it or she just started doing it. I want you to show up, and I want you to put the tag KHAILAZ Beauty. KHAILAZ Beauty. That's KHAILAZE okay? I want you to hashtag that and tag me and my business brand socials as well, on everything. Tag us in it, and let me see what you're doing. Show me what you're doing. Show me that we on the same page. Show me that we in this thing together, because I know I'm doing it, but I want to make sure you're doing it too. Because if you're my homegirl, baby, what we doing is we getting there. We're gonna get there, and hopefully we're gonna get there together. So girl, come on, take my hand. We finna help each other out, and we're gonna get there. All right. And this video has already gotten too long, so I'm gonna holler at y'all, and I'm gonna see y'all later in the next video. Peace. I'm out.